Imagine being so psychologically weak that the mere opinion of a person you don't even respect destroys your entire day. Think about it. You walk into a room and you are terrified, not of a gun, not of a lion, but of a whisper. You are scared of what they might say behind your back. You haven't even heard it yet. It hasn't even happened. But in your head, you are already suffering. You are bleeding from a wound that doesn't exist. Today, we are going to stop this madness. We are going to kill the coward inside you that trembles at the thought of disapproval. To achieve this, we will build the 5 pillars of Stoic indifference, transforming your mind into an unbreachable fortress. We live in an era of display windows. Never in human history have we been so watched, evaluated, liked, shared, or canceled. Our biology, programmed millennia ago to seek tribal acceptance as a means of survival, has short-circuited with modernity. Today, we no longer fear being expelled from the cave and dying of cold. We fear the disapproving look of a stranger, the acidic comment on the internet, or the silence of a friend. We have become slaves to masters we often do not even respect. Stoicism is not a magic pill to anesthetize feelings. It is, in fact, mental surgery. The objective of this video is to dissect, with the precision of a Roman surgeon, the tumor of dependency on other people's opinions and remove it, leaving in its place a scar of strength, character, and unshakable tranquility, known as ataraxia. Part 1. The diagnosis. The dichotomy of control. The first step toward the cure is to understand the golden rule of Stoicism, taught by the former slave Epictetus. If you understand only this concept, your life will already change. Some things are under our control, others are not. It seems obvious, but this is where 99% of people fail. Under your control are your opinions, your aspirations, your desires, and your aversions. In short, everything that is the work of your own mind. Outside your control are your body, which gets sick, your possessions, which can be stolen, your reputation, which depends on others, and your public offices. Suffering is born when we try to control the uncontrollable. Other people's opinion is, by definition, external. It occurs in another person's mind. Trying to change what someone thinks about you is like trying to stop the rain by shouting at the clouds. It is a waste of vital energy. When you base your self-esteem on the approval of third parties, you hand the key to your happiness into the pockets of strangers. If they wake up in a bad mood, you suffer. If they are envious, you suffer. The Stoic collects this key and keeps it inside the inner citadel, their mind, where no one enters without an invitation. Modern Stoic teachings reinforce that reputation is a preferred indifferent. Is it good to be seen well? Yes, it facilitates social life. But this is not essential for your virtue or happiness. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, repeated to himself, "The one who seeks posthumous fame forgets that those who remember him will also die soon." If the glory of a Roman emperor turned to dust, why should the opinion of your co-worker or a distant relative keep you awake? Everything is ephemeral. Opinion is smoke. Your character is the rock. Part 2. The psychology of judgment. Unmasking the other. We often give weight to others' opinions because we overestimate others' wisdom and underestimate our own. Stoicism invites us to analyze who these judges are. The court of fools. Seneca questioned, "Why do you care about the opinion of people you would not ask for advice?" If you do not trust someone's financial, romantic, or ethical life, why does that person's opinion about you matter? Many criticisms come from people who are projecting their own frustrations. The hater or the acidic critic is usually shouting at their own demons, and you just happen to be in front of them. The Stoic looks at an insult not with anger, but with pity or analytical indifference, like a doctor looking at a patient delirious with fever. The patient does not curse out of malice, but out of illness. The concept of the NPC. There is a brutal distinction between living your life as the protagonist or as an NPC, a non-player character. The NPC is programmed. He follows the social script, studies what he is told, wears what is fashionable, opines what the majority opines, and is terrified of displeasing. He seeks the applause of the audience. The protagonist, the Stoic, writes his own code. He understands that to do anything relevant in life, it will be necessary to displease someone. Being authentic is, inevitably, being controversial to the mediocre. If no one is criticizing you, it is a sign that you are not challenging the status quo or being true to yourself. The spotlight effect. Modern science confirms what the Stoics knew. We suffer from the spotlight effect. We think everyone is looking at us, judging our clothes, our mistakes, our stuttering. The liberating truth? No one cares. People are too obsessed with their own problems, their own debts, and their own insecurities to spend more than 5 seconds thinking about you. The shame you feel is a monster created and fed exclusively by your imagination. Part 3. Practical tools, the mental arsenal. How to apply this on Monday morning. Here is the tactical manual compiled from the best Stoic lessons. The shield of silence. When someone offends or criticizes you, the animal instinct is to react, fight, or flight. The Stoic inserts an interval between the stimulus and the response. If someone says, "You are incompetent," the common reaction, "Incompetent is you. I did this and that." You entered the ego game. The Stoic reaction, silence, a serene look, internal analysis. Ask yourself, is this true? If it is true, be thankful. The person revealed a flaw you can correct. They helped you. If it is a lie, it is just an error in their judgment. Why get irritated by someone else's mistake? Silence is the most powerful response because it shows that the other person's opinion does not have enough weight to move your emotional state. You become unshakable. The view from above. When shame or fear of judgment strikes, close your eyes and do Marcus Aurelius's exercise. Imagine yourself rising to the skies. See your house, then your city, then the country, and finally the earth as a small pale blue dot in the infinite cosmos. From that height, what does your neighbor's malicious comment mean? What does the gossip in the office mean? Nothing. We are ants fighting for crumbs on a grain of sand. This cosmological perspective dissolves the ego, and with it, the worry about others' opinions. Premeditatio malorum. Prepare for the worst. In the morning, say to yourself, as suggested by Marcus Aurelius, "Today, I will meet meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, and envious people." Do not say this with pessimism, but with realism. When you predict that the world is full of bad opinions, you're not surprised when they appear. You are already armored. Shock comes from surprise. The Stoic is never caught by surprise by human nature. The so what test, a practical desensitization exercise. They will laugh at me if I fail. So what? They will think I am ridiculous. So what? I will lose social status. So what? Take the thought to the ultimate consequence. You will discover that in the worst case scenario, you are still alive, you are still yourself, and you still have the capacity to act with virtue. The monster of others' opinions has no teeth. It only has a bark. Part 4. The reconstruction of identity. To free yourself from the external, you need to strengthen the internal. If you do not know who you are, you will believe what others say you are. Values versus validation. The average person seeks validation. Please say I am good. The Stoic seeks virtue. Did I act with justice? Was I courageous? Did I have temperance? When your standard of success is internal, doing your best, applause or booing becomes just background noise. If you wrote a book, your success was writing it in the best possible way. Whether the public will love or hate it, that is no longer your problem. You are not your image. Your image is a distorted reflection. You are your prohoresis, your capacity for moral choice. No one can touch that. They can slander your reputation, imprison your body, confiscate your goods, but no one can force you to do evil or to hate. This is the supreme freedom. Amor fati, love the haters. It is not just about enduring others' opinions, but using them. The concept of amor fati suggests that everything that happens is fuel for your growth. Unfair criticism is an opportunity to practice forgiveness and patience. Public rejection is an opportunity to practice humility and resilience. The obstacle is the way. Without these difficult people, you could not test your philosophy. They are your sparring partners in the training of life. Be thankful for their existence as they make you stronger. Part 5. The path forward. Freeing yourself from others' opinions is not about becoming an insensitive sociopath. It is about becoming an emotional adult. It is understanding that every human being carries their own universe of traumas and beliefs, and when they judge you, they are only describing themselves through their own lenses. Remember the 3 layers of protection we built here. Logic. What they think is out of my control. Perspective. Life is too short and the universe too big to worry about this. Identity. My value comes from my own conduct, not from external applause. As Marcus Aurelius said in his Meditations, I have often wondered how it is that every man loves himself more than all the rest of men, but yet sets less value on his own opinion of himself than on the opinion of others. Invert that equation today. Stop outsourcing your self-esteem. Reclaim the throne of your own mind. Your task now is simple but difficult. Go out into the world and do something you fear being judged for. Wear that outfit. Publish that text. Say no to that invitation. And when the discomfort comes, when you feel the looks, real or imaginary, smile to yourself and remember, this is just the external world. I am the master of the internal world. The cage is open. You just need the courage to fly out of it. So if this video helped you in no way, move on. But if it gave you clarity, strength, or direction, then subscribe. Because this journey only makes sense with those who are ready to change.